Silk press is key. Welcome back and thanks so much for joining. Today we're going to be going over what I consider to be the holy grail of the entire process, and that's silk pressing the hair. We're going to be checking out a few useful how-tos that will get you ready to create the perfect ponytail. But before we get into that, let's just go ahead and quickly recap. To start, we want to make sure that we use a leave-in conditioner. Because we use a lot of hairspray for this service, I like to start the heat work by using a leave-in conditioner. Next, scalp care. A dry scalp is a part of scalp care, so please make sure that you place your clients under the dryer. Lastly, section. So section and partings are for control. I want to get into the 5 key points of silk pressing, and then we're going to watch my demonstration video. Number 1, products. So no additional products are needed for this portion of the service, and I strongly suggest that you avoid using them. Second, in the demonstration video, I'm going to be using 2 Marcel pressing combs with a pressing pad. Now, the reason why I choose to use a pressing comb is just personal preference and the way that I was trained as a stylist. So if you use a different method than that, that's fine. But with this demonstration video, you'll be able to learn how to use the same technique that I do. Third, section. So remember, section the hair for control, and how you section is based on personal preference. I start off on the left side in the section that's over the ear, and I work my way around to the right. However, if you start off in the back or on the right side, it's all based on personal preference. And then lastly, edges. So I don't use any edge control for this service. I actually press the edges and mold it using styling products. And I'll be able to show that to you guys once we get to the molding segment. So let's go ahead and check out the demonstration video. You can see on my left hand that I have my pressing pad on. However, I don't begin to use it until I start pressing into the section. So right now what I'm doing is I'm just pressing around the perimeter, and I'm going to be using 2 pressing combs. I found that this is the fastest way to press through the client's hair. And initially, when I first started pressing, I would only use 1 pressing comb, but 2 combs just makes it faster and easier. Now, you saw that I went around the ears, and I'm also going to go into the front area, but I don't do the very back, like that nape area. And that's because everyone's neck is kind of shaped a little different. And so I would just want to make sure that I have control of the comb and that I'm not burning my clients. So I will press that portion once I get to the back area. Now, I am old school. I do have my clients hold their ears. I don't use any of those new things like they have some little plastic ear coverings and stuff like that. I just prefer to have my client hold their ear. That way I know that it's out of the way and that it's not going to get burned. So as I mentioned before, I do start on the left side over the ear, and my pressing technique is just 1 pass. So what I'll do is I'll put the comb into the roots, just making sure that it's going to go in smoothly. And then once I determine that, then I'm going to go back in and then come down with the pressing comb on top of the hair with the pad in my palm. Parting out another section, and I'll go over that again. So I'm going to go through 1 time, making sure that it's going to pass through smoothly. And then now I'm doing the 1 pass with the pressing comb on top of the hair, and the hair is on top of the pressing pad. Now you can see that my client's hair is very shiny already. And at this point, the only products that we've put in have been the shampoo, the conditioner, and then the leave-in conditioner. But because the hair is very clean and I used my squeaky clean technique, that's why it's giving off that shine, because the hair is so clean. As far as the edges are concerned, I already did half of the work when I went around the perimeter that I showed at the initial start of the video. So I don't really need to, I guess, use that much heat or focus that much attention on the edges. because I've already done that initially from the start. So again, I've parted out another section. And now with this part down the middle ponytail, clients do tend to like a lot of baby hair. And so I'm going to be pressing the hair going into the direction that I'm going to be molding it. For the baby hair, that's going to be towards the face. That little section that you just saw me do, I did that towards the face on purpose because that's the way that it's going to lay. And then because I'm doing a part down the middle, that's the way that I'm going to press the hair out. So I'm going to do this section all the way until I get to the area where it would be, the middle part. So you can see that just with the one pass, that's all I have to do in order to get the hair straight. That's one of the reasons why I'm able to regrow a lot of my clients' hair and get it back healthy. Because with this style, it does not require a lot of heat and a lot of heat manipulation where you have to like go in and press and flat iron the hair. It just only requires a nice silky press. So the parts are not that thick, as I stated before. I want to make sure that I'm able to get the comb through and that I'm able to press and straighten the roots at the top of the part and at the bottom of the part. So if the part is too thick, and let's say you go in with the comb, you're really only going to be pressing or straightening the part that the comb can touch. So if the part is thicker than the comb or thicker than the teeth of the comb, then again, you would only be pressing that top portion of the parting. So that's why we want to make sure that we take small enough partings. So we're going to put the comb through, making sure that we're going to get a smooth run. And I always move my clips around as well. So like if I find that like there's some hair snagging from somewhere else, or I've pulled a little bit of hair out from another section, I just make sure that I readjust my clips because I want this to be a pain-free process. I don't want to snag or pull on the client's hair while I'm pressing their hair. So again, this style is going to be a part down the middle. So I'm going to do this section all the way until I get to about the middle. So it doesn't have to be like an exact middle part, but you want to be somewhere near the middle area. If I was doing a side part, then I would have pressed all the way up until the part that where the side part was going to lay on the client's head. So if it was going to be a little further over, like a deep side part, I would only press up to that point. That's going to help me when I'm molding because the hair is already going in the direction that I want it to go based on how I pressed it. I actually get my pressing pads custom made. I don't buy them from the beauty supply store. I find the ones at the beauty supply, they just kind of don't get the job done. It either gets too hot in the palm of my hand or they end up getting burned. And so you can't really use them for that long. They may work good for maybe like 1 to 2 weeks and that's it. These particular pressing pads are made out of a special material that's heat resistant, kind of like those UV gloves. I don't know if you guys ever saw that infomercial for the UV glove, but the material is something similar to that. So it is still going to get hot. You are still going to be able to feel some of the heat, but of course it's not going to be burning you. So now this is the back section that I was telling you about. So she doesn't necessarily have like a little kitchen in the back. You know, that's what I like to call it when you have a few little cuckabugs back there. She doesn't have any. So I don't necessarily have to or a long hairline for that matter. I do have some clients that have like their part, it's like it just never ends. It just goes all the way down. So I always make sure to part very small partings in that area to make sure that I'm smoothing the hair out. But the reason why the partings are a lot smaller than the ones that I'm doing now is just to ensure that I'm not burning the client when I'm trying to press out those little hairs back there. Another thing that I want to point out is that I'm overlapping. So the left section I've already pressed, and now I'm pressing the back right section. So I'm going to, when I do my part, I'm going to part out the area that hasn't been pressed with a little bit of the section that has been pressed. I want to make sure that I don't leave a little gap there where some hair didn't get pressed because I didn't overlap the parting that I'm taking from out of each section. So again, you can see the client's hair has a natural, nice sheen to it. It's already shiny. So there's no need to add any additional products. I can't really think of any situation where I would add products to someone's hair while I'm pressing it. That's just my own personal preference. I've just never found that I've needed to add anything like a pressing wax or a pressing grease to a client's hair in order to get this look. Leave-in conditioner is about the only thing that I use after the shampoo and the conditioner. So now you can see from the top how I'm, going in and making sure that the pressing comb is going to glide through the hair smoothly before I actually take it all the way through with the pressing pad. And I'm getting as close to the scalp as possible without burning my client. Now this is the very few last little partings that I have as far as the right side is concerned. So I'm just about done. But again, I just want to demonstrate that I am parting the hair in the direction that is going to be going in the ponytail. So again, if she was wearing a side part, I would press it based on that side part that she wanted. And of course, if it's a part down the middle, then you're going to be pressing it with the intention of having, the part down the middle. So pressing the right side going to the right and pressing the left side going to the left. Now, I know you guys just saw that I rubbed my fingers over the top of the head. The reason why I do that is because at the top, I do have some clients that tend to have like the top of their head has like a very a high point to it. And so all that does is just it helps to remind me of the client's their head shape. So just in case if they do have like one of those high points at the top, I'm not laying the pressing comb on that section. So that sums up the pressing demo, and let's go ahead and finish up. So just to quickly recap what we went over before. Pressing. So silk pressing is required for this style. So this style is not for your clients that are 100% natural. That's going to be a totally different process and usage of products. So I would strongly suggest not doing this style on a client that normally wears their hair 100% natural. The next thing is products. So no additional products are needed for this section, and I do strongly advise against using them. Lastly, section. So remember, section equals control. So for the action step in this module, we're just going to simply be applying. So you're going to follow the demo in the video and silk out the hair from the roots to the ends. If you use a different method, for example, a flat iron, just be sure to silk out the hair from the roots to the ends. So that's all for this lesson, and I'll see you guys in the next one.